We are back. Sorry about that. When I was logging in, I must have mistakenly skipped my YouTube. Sorry about that. So here we are on the right link. You people can begin to share the right link. Let's give people a few minutes to log in into the right link. We are now on YouTube. We are now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. People are logging in. People are logging in. So kindly, Apollonia, send to Daktari the correct link so that she can begin to use it to invite her people. The right YouTube is also there. The correct YouTube link. All right, so we have few minutes to share the correct link. We have few minutes to share the correct link so that we can move on. All right, I think we can move on as we keep sharing and keep inviting people. Dr. Once you are ready, you let me know. I want to allow you to share because your own platform is important. So once you are ready, once you are finished sharing, let me know, then we can move on. So, Dr. Lynette, can we move on? Are you okay? Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We were talking about who you are. You said you are a mother of three, and you say you are an assistant lab technician. You tell us back who you are so that we can capture it. Please go back again to your introduction.
Thank you, Pastor. I'm Lynette Mora Oimbo, 41 years old, a mother of three, born in Nyamira County, married in Migori County, living in Uasin Gishu County. Yes, I work as a laboratory technician in University of Eldoret, School of Environmental Studies. And I also part-time. I do part-time lecturing in the University of Eldoret. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. We are living in a time, Dr. We are living in a time where we have discovered that people have a lot of challenges, and sometimes those challenges can limit fulfillment of dreams and visions. And sometimes people tend to blame situations, blame some events in their lives that have hindered them from moving forward. Would you love to share with us one of the challenges you faced in life in terms of your physical limitation? How did it happen? How did it shape who you are?
Thank you. It is true that we face so many challenges, but the good thing is that it is us to choose what to do with the challenges. Use them as stepping stones to move ahead, or just sit down and cry forever. So in this, I thank God for the freedom of choice that we have been given. When I came to know myself, I could not do much as other people could, other children my age. If it were washing utensils, I could do it seated. If it were going to the shamba, because I was born in the village, it could be very challenging. At times, it could be no and no and no. Okay, I'm a fifth born, so ahead of me are four sisters. Everyone knew me as rude and difficult because I personally could not explain what it was. I could only say I'm tired. I could say I'm not doing this, I'm not able to do it. But looking at me, I looked okay. I still look okay. So we didn't think much about it. So at times, even my own mom could ask me, "Are you sure you are tired? Do you know how tiredness feels like? How can you just wake up and feel tired?" I could not explain. So it went on. At times, my back could be so painful, lower back, until when I was in Form 4. That was in 1998. It was so difficult. I was taking agriculture. We were supposed to do a project of planting potatoes. I could not do it. It's when now that it was known now that there is a problem. Apart from what we think that is difficult, there must be a problem. And that year I really suffered back pain. And I was in school less than I was at home because of the back problems. So immediately after exams, because my mom suggested that I now stop schooling, we look for medication because we could not do both. Could not pay school fees and pay medical bills because even that school fees was a problem in itself. But I said no. Let me just struggle the way I am until I finish. Then after exams is when we can see what to do. So immediately after exams, we started going to hospitals, and we started with the hospital where my sister was a nurse, and she had earlier on told my mom that there seems to be a problem. On my back is a black patch that is rough, and my mom says I was born with it, a very small dot those days, but it used to expand a bit, and it stopped. Once it became very itchy and septic, but since that time it stopped. So when my sister joined nursing school, she told my mom, this girl has a problem. But then we could not be able to seek medical attention until I finished school. We went to that hospital. We did several tests were done, and then it was found that truly there's a problem on my spine. But then that hospital could not handle much. I was referred to Kenyatta National Hospital. That was now from 1999. For the next 3 years, I was in Kenyatta Hospital, consultation in and out, where you could go today and you are given a date 6 months ahead. So I really tried so much to attend the clinics faithfully, and I did. The very first doctor I met in the hospital was an Indian, and he tried to explain what the problem was. After a few more visits, the Indian was no longer there, and now a cycle of come next month, come after 2 months, come after 6 months began. So at one point, I asked one of the doctors what really the problem is, why I'm not being attended to. This doctor told me, we are pushing you ahead with the hope that that Indian doctor will ever come back because it is him who seems to know what should be done. So with that, okay, the doctor advised that I think you can live with this. Instead of having you operated on with us here and chances of being messed up are high, I think you can live with it. So with that, I left Kenyatta National Hospital clinics in 2000 and early 2002 and joined college. My mom was very hurt because when she saw me being given money by my father to go to college, she shed tears. You mean you want to go to college and you are still sick? I asked her, I've come from the best hospital in this country. Doctors, I don't know whether to use the word are afraid to do anything on me. What more do I need to do? So I went to college. The first term I was in class, but coming to exams, now that I had sat for like 10 weeks continuously, I could not make it further. So for the exams, out of 11 papers, I did one. And I was so down. I had to go to hospital. And I was lucky that my sister nurse was working not far from college. So I went to that hospital. And once I arrived in that hospital, my mom had just arrived. Remember, that is not even a full term after I had joined college against my mother's will. So my mother asked my sister, now look at this girl. I advised her to stop going to college and seek medical attention before she could proceed. So now at that time, my fate was hanging in the hands of my sister. My sister asked her, we have tried. She has tried. She has been to Kenyatta for almost 3 years. Nothing is being done. So me, I think let her go to college. Whatever happens, we will have tried. And that is how now my mother came to agree with us that I should continue with college. So I finished college without going to another hospital. Now, in
Were
case of,
you in pain? Were you in pain at all? Were you sick? Were you in pain, or you were just feeling like I need to go to hospital better? You were not sick. You were not in pain.
I was not looking sick. Looking at me, I was okay, but I was in pain. At times, I could not sit up. I could just lie down, crying because you don't turn, you don't sit, you don't stand, you don't nothing. But then no one is really saying what it is. I only could use painkillers, praying and hoping that things will work out. So I could not do much on my own. Things like washing, I could sweet talk a few friends who could wash for me. At times, I could not wake up to go get meals for myself. My friends could assist. Them also not understanding what it was anyway. But that is how I finished college. So after college, that was in 2004. I I felt that I needed to get a job, yes, but then I could not land a job. Then now, if I didn't land a job, I had this idea of continuing to with my education. I had done diploma, so I went for higher diploma. And that time it was not so much work because it was a part-time class, 2 hours a day. So there was no much sitting. So I didn't suffer much during my higher diploma classes. I finished that and got married. Before I got married, I told my husband to be, who is my husband now, that I have a problem. This is the problem. And earlier on, had been advised by doctors that my back is bad. Yes, I knew, but it was very delicate. So I was advised against carrying a pregnancy. So I told that to my husband. He was okay with that. So we started
It was
life.
okay when you people met. You told him the whole truth that you may
Yes,
not be able to carry pregnancy, and he was still okay with it.
yes.
Hmm.
So when I told my sister that, my sister nurse is called Helen. She was like, wish to meet this man whom I've prayed so much about. I didn't know she was praying for me, and that was God. So after that, we stayed for like 1 year, and then I was like, anyway, in this life we must take risks. So I don't feel so much down, and the doctor's word may not be final. It may be wrong when they say that I could not carry a pregnancy anyway. So we decided to have a baby. And during that time of pregnancy, I really read on child development every day what my baby could have added, so that in case doctors decided that I could not continue with the pregnancy, I will know exactly what developmental stage we were in. I really read everything about development of a baby. I thank God that it was all smooth except for 2 weeks of bed rest. Of course, I could not do much. I had a house help even before I got pregnant. So after those, I only had 2 weeks of bed rest. We went to the doctor and we talked to the doctor that now there is a back problem that has persisted for so long. And because of that, we opted for elective CS. The doctor wanted to insist that he doesn't think that was a problem. Remember, earlier on, doctors had advised against carrying pregnancy itself, and now this is a gynecologist saying the back problem will not even affect normal childbirth. But because now my psychology was like, I will not even carry the pregnancy, I was like, let me not test God more than this. I thank God I've carried the pregnancy, yes, but now for the birth process, let it just be elective CS. So we went for that. And on 7th February 2012, we had a baby. And naturally, now that was a blessing from God. The girl is named Blessing. So after that, that was in February of 2012. September 2012, there was an intake in the university, and I was like, why not go to class? Because even at home, I'm not doing much. I have a house help a nanny for the kids. I'm not doing much. Whatever I'm doing seated at home, I can do it in class. So I joined the university in September 2012. I joined in second year. There was no much problem except on and off pains, which I could manage using painkillers. And I graduated in 2015. But before I graduated in November 2015, I had enrolled for masters because I was like, there's nothing much I can do in the house anyway. Let me just keep reading, because I think it's only reading which is easier to do, because apart from that, what comes is manual work, which I cannot do. So I'd rather use this time that I'm rearing children to be in class. And then that girl was born in 2010. The second one is the one that was born in 2012. So I graduated in November, having done one semester of a master's class. So also in 2015, I graduated for master's. And in that master's class, we were 5 of us, 1 gentleman, 4 ladies. And since that time of 2015, it's only this 1 gentleman who has ever graduated. So we are 2 from that class of 2013 to 2015. So after that, I was like, having done masters, why should I not proceed? In January 2016, I went back to class for my PhD. I was the only student in that PhD class. That did not discourage me. In fact, it motivated me that at least now I have something to talk about. I was the only one. And that course, I'm the first student to have done that course from the time it was developed in 1984. Yes. So with having enrolled in 2016, I graduated in 2019. I could have done it in 2018 if the examiner could not have stayed longer with my thesis. So I graduated in 2019. So that is the academic journey. But then before that 2019, before I graduated with my PhD, in 2015, April, I took my baby to hospital, Eldoret Hospital, in the evening. As we waited for the doctor, I looked at the notice board and saw a notice that there will come doctors from India that were dealing with the spine, and they were to come the following day at 8. I decided that I needed to see them, and I was there very early. I was the first on the line that following morning. So I met this Indian doctor, looked at my MRI films, and told me that this thing we can fix it in India. It will need a surgery. It will take this length of time, approximately this amount of money. He talked it like it was a joke. To him, it didn't look so anything much. So with that, I left the hospital. That was in April 2015, feeling good that I now know what my problem is. But then I couldn't imagine where we could get money to go to India for surgery. I already have two children. I was in I was in class. So I knew it could not happen. At times we put ourselves in the shoes of God and think that it is not going to happen when God thinks otherwise. So when I explained that to my husband, he was good enough and told me that now that the problem has been seen and treatment plan suggested by a doctor, we are going to India whatever it takes. So the doctor asked me when I could wish to go, and we set a date. That was still in April, but we set a date in August when we could go. So with that date in mind, we started mobilizing for funds, and we thank God that that exact date that we had set in April is the day we left Kenya, went to India. So in India, very many tests were done, and reading my file is when I realized that I had a condition known as spina bifida. Reading through it, I realized that okay, in layman's language, there was a hole in the spine. The spine didn't close up completely, just like some babies are born with a hole in the heart. Mine was a hole in the spine. So after the tests, after discussion with the doctors, they told me how they are going to fix it. I was in theater for 2 hours, on recovery for 2 hours, after which a physiotherapist came. We walked around the hospital. The following day, we walked up and down the stairs, and they were like, "You are now okay." So my pain, I can say, ended in the theaters of India, because immediately after that, I felt numbness. So after the numbness cleared, until today, I am not in any pain. So what the doctors explained, apart from the spine which didn't close properly, there were some discs which were broken. So the broken pieces of bone, the broken to bones, very small ones, were piercing on the nerves, compressing the nerves. In fact, they told me if it could have taken longer, there were chances that I could even be paralyzed, because at times I could not feel my lower limbs. I could feel numb on my lower limbs. So they removed those two small bones. They gave them to me in a bottle, and that was the end of my problem, because I thank God they went to the cause of the problem. And then after that, I took a few days to heal. We came back after 2 weeks. So the second day after surgery, I called my mom. I told her I'm now okay. My mom told me, I've prayed for you for so long. I know you will be well, but for now, I know you are not, because I know you are lying down. You don't even know when you will wake up. I told her, as I'm speaking to you, I'm coming from walking up down the stairs. My mom could not believe it. That is it. That is me now. I'm okay. I thank God. So from 2015 now, I'm not in any pain. So and that was in August. So when we left for India in August 2015, remember I was doing my second year of masters, and I had handed in my thesis for examination before we left. I really worked so hard. At times I could type my thesis lying down, because I talked to myself and I was like, anything may happen. with surgery, anything may happen. And earlier I'd been told that the chances of being messed up are there. So I was like, let me finish this thesis, hand it in. If I come from India, not able to sit, not able to stand, not able to do anything for myself, at least I could have finished with this. So I had handed in my thesis. I came home, just now relaxed, waiting for graduation later in 2015. So enrolling for PhD in 2016, I was not in any pain. Until today, I thank God I'm okay.
Wonderful. Now let's see. Let's get back to your story of how you went to school
Mhm.
despite the pains, how you succeeded in reading when the pains were still there. So, what are you able to speak to the audience? Because there are things you have mentioned. You mentioned that life provides you with choices. Life provides you with choices, and in life, you must take risks. You must take risk. Number three, life has alternatives. I love when you said that when you could not do manual things because you were not able, because of pain and your physical situation, you opted to read. In other words, life can actually give you alternatives. You don't just sit down and say, because I am not able to do my physical work, I am finished. So let's go back to those times of challenges that actually enabled you to read until you got your PhD. How does somebody make choices? You saw choices, and your parents were saying, your mother was saying, why go back to school? But you insisted that you must go back to school. Let's go back to that place and let's see whether there are things that drove you. What are the driving engines when somebody meets a situation that is a bit difficult, and you have, and especially health issue is a very big problem, because at that point, number one, you didn't even have money. Number two, the doctors were actually avoiding you because they didn't know what to do. What gave you energy? What gave you strength to believe in yourself, believe in your tomorrow, and move on until you got your PhD? Even when you got to the PhD level, you were the only one doing that course. Somebody is asking, which course is that? So they want to know the name of the course you studied. And so you came to a class, you are the only student. You didn't give up. There must be something about you that never gives up. There must be something about you that never gives up. Can we look at it in this life where people are easily giving up, and they little things we chicken out? Can you speak the secret behind determination in life?
Okay, Pastor, I looked at myself. I looked at the life we were in. We were eight. Yeah, we are eight. Then my father has never held any formal job. He never went to school much. He was orphaned very early in life. My mother never ever went to school, though she can read some Kiswahili and vernacular. So I looked at the life we lived and I was like, if only my parents could have had education. Because at times my mother could, looking at my patch, there's a patch on my back even today. Anytime I could go home, anytime we could meet with my mom, she will want to look at it. And then she could pity herself. I wish I knew that something could have been done. I wish I could have even had little education to know that it was a medical problem. So I was like, in this life, I'll not want to say, I wish. I wish would not be part of me. So looking at this life, my father could do all the odd jobs you would think about. He could go somewhere for even 2 years before he comes home, looking for fees for all of us. Then I was like, I will not want to go through this. I will not want my children to go through this. Yes, my mother is asking me why I will need to even go to school. And at the same time, she's pitying herself why she did not. So I will not live with an excuse. Excuses don't sell, don't buy. You can't go to a shop say, "Oh, I'm sick."
Yeah, hold on there. I love that statement. Excuses don't buy, they don't
They
sell.
don't
Please
sell.
help me to write that. Excuses don't buy, they don't sell. People who have excuses in life, they never buy, they never sell. Go
Yes.
ahead.
You can't go to a shop and say, "Oh, I'm hungry, and because I'm sick, just give me a packet of unga and I'm sick." To who will you do that? So can you use that, you whatever you think is a weakness, use it, move forward. What I will have, what I did most with the when I was okay, the pain was not continuous, was not today, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Only that I could not tell when it will come. There were no warning signs. So when I was not in pain, I could use all that time as if that is the only time I have. I remember sometimes I could come. Okay, I got a job in 2014. Yes, as I was in my master's class. Luckily, it was in the same university that I was in. So I could go to work, attend my classes, come back in the evening. I had a lot of corrections to do on my thesis. And if that day or night I was not in pain, I could sit up almost the whole night. Come from work, I take supper, we do the normal things, kids go to bed, and I could sit, do all that I needed to do. Looking at my watch, it is 6 in the morning, take a bath, go to work. And thank God for that night because it was a peaceful night. Even my supervisors at one time asked me whether I ever sleep. And I was like, I don't sleep because I feel like sleeping. I sleep when I'm done. Because time will come when I'm in pain. Even now, you are in bed until you are now tired of being in bed. So before that time comes, let me work. And I worked. I thank God I graduated within the stipulated okay, that is minimum 2 years. Yes. And what pushed me so much was like, what will I say tomorrow? Yes, as of today, my mother is really pitying me. But now I will not be with my mother forever. And in as much as I will be with her for the time that God will allow us be together, is it my mother who is supposed to assist me, or the opposite? So when I'm not in pain, I will not allow the circumstances to put me down. One, my existence is not a matter of circumstances. God planned it. God knew I was born with a problem. So I left so much for God to handle. But then at times I could really take rest when I felt I had to, especially when I could have given my work to the supervisors before I got feedback from them on what more I needed to do. I could take that time to rest. So my driving force has always been, if I cannot do it manually, I can do it using my brains. And
If I cannot do it manually, at least my brain is working.
yes, I thank God for that. Because reading through what other people go through, those that have spina bifida, I belong in some support groups. People are suffering out here, having the same condition. Okay, mine is a bit mild, but some people are on wheelchair, some are on catheters for almost for life. So I thank God that mine was mild enough, and I could move on. So when I got married to that Migori County, as I said, I saw a very different life. People had very huge tracts of land, but they were forever hungry. And looking at their farms, someone could go to the farm, plow, plant, and leave it there, wait for harvest. So that triggered something in me that I needed to look at agriculture. My My course in undergraduate was botany. After I realized that there is a problem where in my own village, I now thought about food issues. I changed from School of Science and went to School of Agriculture, where I studied crop protection for my master's. And inside this crop protection now, I looked at the most urgent need for my people in the village and spotted an area that has not so much been dwelt into, and that was on weeds. Many people have done on crop protection, many people have done plant pathology, entomology, that is on insects, but not much has been done on weed science. So I realized that in the same university there was a course on that weed science. Everyone was surprised, which is this course? And it is weed, as in weeds, magugu, not weed, the weed that we know. So that is the course I did. And I'm glad that now I get calls, anonymous calls. People are asking, what can we do about this weed? What can we do about this? So it is coming into people that there is a problem on these weeds and they need to be addressed. So I like the field that I chose to do. And with the time, I hope to have a consultancy that will be dealing with that. And with that, I'll have given back to my community.
Wow, wow. Is your mom still alive?
Yes,
How does she feel seeing you with your family? And you have three children right now. I will come to that issue of medical report. You have three children, right?
yes,
All right. Let me get back to you on the issue of medical. You went to hospital. There are many people watching us tonight. On right on their table are negative medical reports. As they are
yes.
watching and they are listening tonight, some are living in fear just because there is a report that the doctor has given. Now, here
Yes.
you are, and the doctor says to you, don't even bother getting pregnant. Your physical condition will not allow pregnancy. What gave
Mm.
you courage to still go and get pregnant despite the medical advice?
Okay, I read so much. I read so widely about it. And I realized some people with worse conditions were able to have children. And I also read on medical advancements for those that are not able to have children naturally. So I was ready for either. Though my husband understood, and people can say it's because he had another family. Unfortunately, he had lost his wife, so he still has his two boys. So, but then he was understanding enough that we were able to now to prospect for any means that oh, could give us a child. Though if it could be found that it was impossible, we were okay with that. If it could be found that it was impossible, but of course that will be, everyone could come to a verdict that it is impossible, of course, after trying. So our trying was successful. You
So
can't say
would you say that some of the medical reports are not accurate, or is it that they are accurate and God overrules? What can you say about medical reports that eventually don't work out the way it is said?
okay, it is I look at it in both ways. What you are saying, that in some cases God overrules them, and at times doctors are human, they may make mistakes. Remember, these are doctors. They have not understood my problem. No one even gave me the name of my condition in Kenya, but they are now ahead telling me what I cannot do when they have even failed to give me the name to this condition. So I was like, are you sure of what they are saying? If they could have said, this is the condition, we've dealt with so many people with this condition, this percentage have succeeded, a larger percentage have failed, then at least we have some statistics we are working on. Because I realized for some, it may have even been the first time seeing this condition. But why go ahead and give negative conclusions? So we were like, it may not be the correct one. And
Wow.
we prayed so much. My mother prays. We are 8 in our family. My mother prays for each one of us by name every day. So, and of course, God answers.
Amen. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, before we come to the concluding part of this show, I want to remind you of our revival prayer tomorrow. Don't forget, 8 p.m. we shall be praying. We are seeing results of revival. We are seeing incredible results of revival. Please join me on the revival train, revival movement tomorrow. Let's again petition heaven and see how we position ourselves to be beneficiaries. Remember that tomorrow we'll be praying on issue of abundance. That revival comes with an overflow. Revival comes with enough for everyone. So let's call on the name of the Lord to stir up things that he will do in our lives that will cause those that don't believe to see our God and know that God is able. Don't forget to share this particular broadcast in case there are people who are going through difficulties now and they're about to throw in the towel. They can actually draw strength and know that life gives you choices and you can take some risk. It was a lot of risk that Lynette took, and life can give you alternatives. When you are not in pain, do something. You are not in pain, you are not in challenges and problems every day. There are some days you are not in problems, do something about that. And whose report do you believe? The report of the Lord or just any kind of report? So please share this broadcast and also like my page, subscribe to my YouTube, and follow me on my page. And don't forget our prayers tomorrow. So let me read a bit of our comments from our audience. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Is it Rouse or Rousey? But let me go to Jumakori. He's saying, lovely to listen. This is my classmate. That means you were classmates and longtime friend and my star. You have inspired many, Daktari. So do you know this fellow Jumakori?
Yes, yes, yes. She was index number 3. I was index number 2. That is my friend.
All right, wonderful.
Mm.
I'm picking on what people are saying. I'm blessed, favored, said, I read your story online about the husband from heaven you got yourself. Glad to have you here. I'm blessed, favored. Thank you so much for your comment. If a husband is from heaven, do you mean that some husbands are from hell? I want to be I want to believe that most of our husbands are from heaven. All right. People are saying amazing, lovely. Christine Nekono is saying it's good to be honest, open and sincere before marriage. Disclose anything that can change your marriage. I agree. Tell somebody everything, and if they don't want to go along that way with you, it is okay than allowing them to discover things after marriage. Jane is saying, in life, we must take risk, for God is greater and has the final say. All right. I'm looking at comments, and in case there are questions, some people are saying, what a determination. Some say, Ish, only student in PhD class and you continue. This is courage. Somebody is saying, doctors can discourage people. That's Jane. But I don't want us to discredit doctors tonight. Doctors are wonderful people. God uses them tremendously for all of us. But like she said, you know that there are times, because they are also human, they are human, they will tell you exactly what they have seen. Sometimes they make mistakes. Yeah, sometimes they make mistakes. So doctors can discourage people. I remember a doctor telling my husband that I cannot have children. But right now, I have 3 wonderful angels that God has blessed me with. So we thank God for you, and we thank God that God can overrule like we have had. Um, Miller is saying, congratulations, the journey has been tough, but your determination kept you going. You are a strong woman. Susan Kinyua is saying, what a husband God sent. It is true, God sent him to you to encourage you, and even kept saying, let's go to India, and you guys went to India. Favor Actisa is saying, evening, Sorry, I joined late. I've forgotten about the show. Thank God that you eventually remember that you did not forget all through. Many of you are commending. Somebody says, inspiring story. Let me go and enroll for my master's. So no more excuses. Yes, no more excuses. And if you're determined, you will get it. Regina is saying, God is a God of order. Imagine Dr. kept learning, not knowing that her study will reward her one day when she's completely healed. Never limit God. I love this. She kept on studying. This is what the Bible says, hoping against hope. She didn't know she will get healed this way, but she kept on studying even in pains. She kept on studying even in pains. Eventually, the pain went, God restored, and she has her certificate. So can you imagine if she was there celebrating the pain, mourning the pain, lamenting over the pain, blaming the mother, blaming everyone else except herself? Today, she may not be healed because attitude is part of our healing process. Attitude is part of the medication that we take. How do you approach a problem? And today, she may not have had her PhD and she may not be healed. So it's important that we maintain a very strong spirit. I love, Mary says, what a strong spirit. And it is true, it's a strong spirit. Uh, Nemo is saying, oh, mine. And the way my back and nerves have been a challenge, a tough journey. It is especially the plain, great testimony. I agree with you. If you have never experienced a pain that comes from the nerve compression, you will not understand and appreciate what he's saying. I have gone through it at different times. My shoulders, two shoulders, had issues, and the nerves were compressing on the bone. The pain at times cannot be endured. I remember one time I could not sleep. If I turn to the left, it is a problem. I turn to the right, it's a problem. Then I began to use my back. I will use my back, and I will sleep with the back, and the back became very painful at the back because I stationed the back for months. I'm talking about months. Every time I remember it was time to sleep, it was like God. I was afraid of sleep because I didn't know which direction to go. So when you hear that people are going through pains that no painkiller could help, no painkiller helped me. No painkiller helped me. In fact, that became the first time a doctor called me a foolish woman because I went to US, and after I saw a chiropractor, they told me to be putting ice block. I even had ice block every day. I'll put ice block. I wasn't getting better. When I came back to Nairobi, it was so bad. I decided to see a chiropractor in Nairobi. When I got to his office, as I got in there, I explained my situation. Oh my God. Sometimes problem can make people even insult you instead of helping you. God have mercy on that doctor. As I saw him, he looked at me and he said, you mean you were in America and they were giving you ice block to put on your pain? I said, yes. He told me, you are such a foolish woman. He said, how can you allow? Yes, imagine a doctor that's supposed to help me say you are a foolish woman. How can you allow with your education? I was doing my doctorate. How can you allow doctors to put ice block on you? See, now your nerves are turning green. They are already turning green. In fact, if you did not rush to this place, a time will come when the nerves will be dead. And that is how paralysis comes. So I asked him, so what is your own solution? You have said your own is not right. What is your own? He said, you need to put hot water, da, 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 da. Let me tell you, I went and did his own, tried his own. It didn't work. As I am sitting here, God healed me. It was a miracle how God laid his hands on me and healed, and the entire pain went on both shoulders. It is a miracle and a half. And and imagine within that situation, I was in pain, but I was doing my doctorate. I was traveling to California. From Amsterdam to California was about 13 hours flight. I will sit there in that plane. I can't turn like this. The pain, I will keep on doing like this, keep on doing like this. And I have a lot of work to do, analysis to it. Brethren, let me tell you, some of us have gone through things in life. And that's why when we call on the name of Jehovah, we know what we are talking about. Don't forget that tomorrow by 7:15 a.m., 6 a.m., we should be at Solution to be loading the womb of the month of November. When you see some of us, even when our eyes are not opening well, we are praying, we are dragging feet. It is because we have seen God. And I can conclude for you, it is only God in our lives. It is only
Amen.
God in our lives. It is only God in our lives. This God, we hold this God like this. Don't let him go. You know, the one that Jacob held him and say, I will not let you go. Let's hold him and tell him we will not let him go, because it is only God. It has only been God. I can go on and go on to read so many other comments here, but I will allow those of you, please help us to share and make sure that many people get to hear what happened and know that excuses don't buy, excuses don't sell. You cannot enter into a shop and say, you know, because of ABCD help me. Excuses don't buy, excuses don't sell. Let us step out. Let us step out in faith. Let us ignore some reports and hand over our battles to the Lord. And in the moments when you are okay, maximize it, use it, so that when the moments come for challenges, you will use the moments that you have, utilized very well to make up. That's why I normally tell you prayer is like sowing. You put a lot of prayer in the prayer bank. You will discover that there are times you don't have energy to pray. What do? You draw the check and go to your prayer bank and use the one you prayed last year or last week to survive. As we begin to close this show, say something about just in 1 minute, food security. I saw you wrote that Africa and Kenya can feed the world. How can we feed the world when some of us are not even able to put food on our tables?
Once we change our attitude, we have everything that it takes. We have the best climate. We have the energy. We have, what don't we have? We are so much favored. But the only thing that we are doing wrong is having a wrong attitude that, we can't achieve this. Let me give you a small situation. I traveled somewhere where we have a home, and I took with me beg seed, the cuttings of sukuma wiki, and I planned to stay there for 2 months. We stayed there. In fact, we traveled by night. In the morning, we arrived in the morning, put children to bed, went to the farm. Okay, my husband was doing the tilling, and we plowed a small section, planted this sukuma wiki we had, and every evening we could pay someone to bring us water, and we water the vegetables. So after a few days, the vegetables were ready for consumption. One time, a lady came and asked that I help her with the vegetables. I told her it's okay. I'll give you some. But then I wanted to understand what it is, why they are living the way they are living. I asked her, now you have children, quite a number of children. You have a house. You've lived here for this long. How do you manage without anything in the name of vegetable? And once they've harvested the maize, which is not much, that is it. So how do you manage? You know what this lady told me? Okay, where I come from in Nyamira, there's a rain much of the year round. So this lady was like, this is not like your place. This our place. There is no much rain. We have problems. Nothing can grow. Then I asked her, and this farm you are sending me to pluck some vegetables for you, is it in Nyamira or is it in this same village? She was like, we don't even know what you do. No, even the same person that you sent to bring you water, to come water these vegetables, will come for vegetables from you when she's seeing what you're doing. We have a lot of potential. It is us who are not making use of that potential. Who says that we can't? What is it that we cannot do? Look at countries that have very harsh climates. I learned of a country that imports soil from somewhere to go use that soil to grow fruits and export those fruits to the same country where they got soil from. Why are we this? We can feed ourselves and have enough for export. Number one, once we change our attitude. Number two, once we have the incentives, the cost of production in this country is going up, up, and up. When the cost of petrol goes, diesel, I think, goes up, we are impacting on the farmer. The farmer in Kitale will rely on that diesel to plow the farm. So we are not looking at how we are impacting on food security when we play with a few things out here. Then we also need to have relevant people in relevant ministries. Otherwise, why should we have a medical doctor heading agriculture docket? I don't mean that is what is being done, but if we can have such an absurd appointment, this guy does not understand anything in this sector, so will not even know what to do where. Can we learn from the Bible how Joseph ensured that there was enough food for 7 years, that he saved his own family? In Egypt, that was known to have had famine. What is this that pushed him to ensure that Egypt, being a foreign land to him, he still had a push that he needed to do what he did to ensure that this country survived the famine? They had enough, even for foreigners. We can also have enough. Number one, let us change our attitude and everything else will follow. Yes, we
Thank you
can do it.
so much. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Let's change our attitudes, and it's for all of us. Don't forget our QEG, the Gathering of Stars and Queens, on Saturday by 2 p.m. at Solution Center, Redeemed Christian Church of God. It's going to be a physical meeting and also online, 2 p.m. We are talking about mercy will cancel all judgment. When you have tried every other thing you can try and nothing is working, you can bank on the mercy of God. You can bank on the mercy of God. Don't miss that meeting. I'll be there calling on God for mercy. There are several things in my life. I just need God's mercy. I just need God's mercy. Please make sure you are there on Saturday. And when you are coming, come with friends, especially those of them who are lost and confused and discouraged. Come with them, and the mercy of God will reach us. All right. Somebody said the problem with our country is too much corruption. Those who are working rather wants to carry everything in their back. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us. We have everything it takes to grow. Isaac sowed in the land, and in that same land reaped 100-fold. The God of Isaac is still alive in our time. The issue, the principle is to sow. He was asked to sow. He sowed and he reaped 100-fold. There is a God that can turn the desert into a pool of water. So let's change our attitude, and I believe that we will get better. Thank you, Dr. for being on the show. Thank you so much. You have encouraged us. You have reminded us of some of the things that we have forgotten. And we pray that the Lord will use you more and bless you the more. And to our
Amen.
viewers, thank you so much, and see you online tomorrow. And see you even in the morning at Solution Center for Loading the Womb. See you at night during our revival meeting 8. See you on Wednesday, Faith Clinic. See you on Hope FM on Thursday. Don't forget, I'll be live on Hope FM 8 p.m. on Thursday. See you at the prayer meeting. Don't forget to fast for 3 days. Don't forget to fast. From Wednesday, we will fast all the way to Friday. And if you are not able to fast for 3 days, at least fast on Friday and let's gather in church to pray for the mercy of God. Some are here sick, some are confused, some are feeling that the year has not been favorable. Let's wait on the Lord in prayer and be in church on Friday, 5 to 6 to pray. Then Saturday, all roads will be leading to the gathering of stars and queens. So all of you tonight, from my heart, from Nairobi, Kenya, thank you for watching and good night for now.
Bye.
Bye.